So it's time to blow our minds with the hair dryer. That is starting on page 11.3. Basically, we're going to use revolve, we're going to use loft, all sorts of stuff, shell. So I'm going to start us off by looking at our strategy. The hair dryer is going to look like that at the end. But to get there, we start with just that top piece and revolve it. Then we're going to do that handle. Then we're going to make our way down. And I'm going to guide you through the whole thing as best I can. So let's get started by making a new sketch. Now we're going to need to make a sketch on the XY plane. So we go here, and now it tells us that our radius from the origin is 2. If the radius is 2, then our diameter is 4. Now this is going to go all the way until it touches. The height of this line, it tells us, is 1.5. And now I'm just going to make a line, because we're going to fillet this in just a second. I need to trim my circle, so I trim it. Now I need to fillet 0.25 inches right here, right here. Beautiful. Finish sketch. Done. Revolve. Click your center point, and you are set. There we go. Okay. Now we've got this. We need to start making some work planes that are off of origin in order for us to make this handle. So we are going to use our plane tool, offset from plane, and I'm going to go in my origin, in the viewfinder, well, the model browser, the XY plane. I'm going to click that, and I'm going to make 3 different planes. The first one is 2.5 inches. I'm going to do the other ones after telling you. You need one at 4 1/4 and 3.5. You should have planes just like I do. And now I want to change the visibility of my XY plane. I'm going to need this. So I right click it and I say visibility. Now I can see it. Great. So our next step is to start the base of this, and we are going to click the edge of the XY plane on origin. We're going to make a rectangle. That rectangle is going to have a width of 1.5 and a height of 0.5. Great. Now what I need to do is fillet those corners. So I'm going to do a fillet with 0.25. I'm going to pick here and here. That's 1. You just got to believe. 1 and 2. I get a little preview. Now my shape is looking the way I want it. And next step is coming. Now we're going to finish this sketch. So we should have the one drawing hidden behind this. And our next drawing, we're going to do a sketch on our work plane 1. Now here we get a little funky. In the ribbon toolbar area, select Project Geometry. Okay, Project Geometry should be right up here in the Create tab. But before I do that, we're going to change our view. So in the View tab, we are going to change our visual style to wireframe. That way we can see everything we're working on. So once again, View, Visual Style, Wireframe. Next step. So now we're going to click Project Geometry, and we want to pick the bottom. Now, this gets finicky. If you don't click it the right way, it doesn't know what you're doing, so you can try shifting it around, but I had a lot of issues trying to get the whole thing. There we go. Basically, what we're going to try and do is make this handle again, but now we are going to change some of the dimensions. So instead of it being, instead of it being 1.5 inches, we are going to make it 1.4 inches. Okay, height should be the same. There we go. So it's 0.5. Good. We're going to connect it there. Now we're going to use that fillet here and here for 0.5. Cool. And we want to make sure that we shrink it. We want to remove 0.1 inches this way. So now we're going to move on and do our next steps. I'm going to just put a picture real close. Hopefully you can see it. So we're doing the same thing, except the next work plane is going to have a width of 1.2. Everything else the same. And the furthest plane is going to be 1.35. Do that now. Alright, I felt bad. So now I'm going to continue this. Work plane 3 is going to use project geometry here. Let's see. Let me get this going. Okay. Now what I'm going to do is just take this and I'm going to make it 1.2. Finish the rest. Make my way. I got one more sketch to do. Last one. Going to project this geometry. I'm going to make my line 1.35. Okay. Height's going to stay the same. Same fillets. You do that. Okay. So you should be left with something like what I have. We've got 3 different handle points and they're offset from each other with different dimensions. Now what we're going to do is loft it. We have lofty goals today. We click loft and now in the create select loft, okay, curves option is activated. So let's see, center line, area loft, rails, oh, curves. Yeah, we're already in there. Now in the sections box, we're going to activate the sections of sketches. So here we're going to start clicking our sections. We got click to add, sketch 2, click to add, sketch 3, click to add, sketch 4, click to add, sketch 5. Cool. We are left with a handle looking boy. Say okay. Oh, that's nice. What a handle. We're really getting a grip of this. So at this point, I am starting a sketch on the YZ plane. Okay, alright, and we start our sketch on that YZ plane. And what we're going to do is make a line that is just not touching the ends, but it's on this YZ axis. Now what we're going to do is create a 3-point arc. So with a center point, we're going to find the center of that line, and we are going to make the distance, let's see, 0.75. And it should be 180 degrees. And now we have to dimension. Whoa. Okay. Center this line. We make it 0.75 inches and we do 180 degrees. Good. Now we have to dimension this so that the axis, the YZ plane, is now 1.125, 1 1/8 inches away. Now that we've done that, we can complete our sketch. Now we're going to extrude. On the extrude options, we're going to make sure it's going the correct way for a handle. We're going to extrude it 5.5 inches right here. 5.5 inches is the distance that we choose today. Say okay. Have a happy day. And now what we're going to do is pretty this baby up. We're going to use the fillet option. And we are going to make our radius 0.15. And we're going to do this. We're going to do this. Bottom edge. Looks pretty good to me. Okay. Okay. Looking beautiful. Now it's time to shell it out. So we want to make sure we're on the bottom of our object. And I can tell that this is the bottom. And if I were to change the view, you'd see that this is full of material. We're going to shell it. So now our shell is going to have a thickness of 0.125. And we want to remove faces. Okay. So now it's going to be hollow, and I'll show you that right now. I just changed my tab to view, visual style. Let's go shady. No, with edges, shady with edges. And it didn't do what I wanted it to do. So I guess it was good that I did that. So I'm going to say shell. I'm going to pick that surface. Remove faces. So I deleted my shell. I'm going to give it another go. I click shell here. I'm going to choose the option that I want, and that's looking like what I want. So I say OK. Now we are nearly there. We just need to make the pattern that will vent out all the guts of the hairdryer. So what we're going to do now is use a pattern. We're going to make a two-dimensional sketch. Let's go. Oh, here we go. Top view. And start a 2D sketch here. Now what we're going to do is make a little rectangle. And it's going to be 0.5 inches wide. And it's going to be 1/8 of an inch, or 0.125 tall. And now what we got to do is dimension this baby away from the axis. So it's going to be 1.170 inches high, and it's going to be, hey, okay, I'll just pick the plane here, and from there it's going to be 1, okay, and once again, not paying attention, here this distance is 1.17. So it's in a little bit. I'm going to finish that sketch, and now when I extrude, okay, you should have a little chip out of there. That's good. Now what we're going to do is pick the rectangular pattern right up here. Works just like with sketch mode. But I'm going to click it, and now I have to specify the feature that's going to be patterned. I'm going to select extrusion 2 right there. Now what I'm going to do is pick the directions. 1 is going to be in line with the nozzle. Okay, and 2 is going to be in line with this back edge. Cool. And how many times does it repeat? I'll tell you, 5 times. And the distance between is 0.6 inches. And direction 2 is going to be 10 times. Large number. Okay, that's fine. That's what I live for. Now I'm going to do a 1/4 inch. So, when I press OK, we're good. Almost done. I got 2 minutes, so stay with me. We are going to flip it upside down, start a sketch on the bottom face, and we are going to pick Project Geometry, and we're going to select the entire outside of the ring, of the thing. Alright, so we selected that, we right-clicked and said OK. Now we're going to sketch on this nozzle, and we're going to make a box as I show you, right? Okay, so this box is 0.0625 tall and 0.125 wide for this face. And now what we're going to do is finish our sketch, and it's right at this tippy top corner. Don't miss that. Now we're going to sweep. So we are going to select the profile. Now I'm going to select the curve or path, and it should be the one that we specified before. Now what I'm going to do is select cut. Make sure. So now I'm going to select cut. I say OK. And we now have our blow dryer. I don't know how I messed up, but I messed this thing up. I'm going to just fix this with a sketch and extrude. So I found a midpoint. I made it 1.250. I'm going to extrude this in, cut, print, call it, and now you are finished with your blow dryer. Told you it would blow you away.